watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire wrestling community, and I'm going to be host Juanzo.
And I'm your other host, Sean Paul, the X.
Together we are Raw Break, and it's Wednesday, so it's time to talk about AEW Dynamite. This time from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, you know, our home state, and you know, a pretty good show. Dynamite is actually putting more effort. They're trying to develop stuff, and Jean Paul pretty much predicted 90% of the card, because he was right in everything. So, you know, really cool stuff, and, you know, a lot of people in Philly, the energy seems different. The AEW, fans are way different than the WWE fans when it comes to energy. So let's start to talk about it, Paul. How do you feel about this show, and, you know, excited for the future?
Oh, this crowd was so hot for this show, and, I mean, you know, that's what we said. I mean, this show with a dead crowd wouldn't have felt as legit, but the crowd was hot, so it made the show feel even better. And, I mean, this show, besides one segment, you know, here or there, this was really a great show, you know, and I thought, you know, the matches, a lot of them had great outcomes. I know some of them maybe you didn't agree with, but you said, hey, you know, you can understand why they did what they did. But overall, again, this was another Grand Slam show. Tony Khan, you know, you got to applaud him. Anytime it's a special show, a pay-per-view, he always puts on a fantastic show.
Yeah, and, you know, so we're going to be talking about absolutely everything. Thank you to every single one of you that keep watching the videos, keep supporting. The one thing we ask, keep subscribing, fill up with comments, you know, get more comments in the videos, let us know you guys like it, you guys don't like it. Don't forget NXT review, there's the recap like we always do, and you know, our Braun Breaker is going to go against Tommaso Ciampa at Halloween Havoc. That is going to be in 3 weeks, so you know, pretty interesting show, but like I see, the ratings are starting to fall down.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, there's only so much you can do when we said you took like over 50% of your roster, got rid of them, and then you put like a bunch of new guys on it. It's like, it's going to take a while for us to get used to these new guys, to like them, if we even do like them. And I'm not surprised that the ratings are falling, you know, especially when, you know, you're not featuring guys like, you know, Samoa Joe gone. You know, guys who the, you know, fans are actually excited about aren't there anymore. You know, besides Ciampa, you know, there really isn't too much to hang your hat on.
Yeah, so but like, you know, like you said, it's going to be tough transition. Whether it goes up and everybody starts loving it, or, you know, everybody just jumped the ship, and there you go, AEW. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Don't forget, one more time, thank you. Keep subscribing to all the social media we have. Paul, this started the show like 8-man tag. On paper, like you always says, this like multi-man matches are like a little like clusterfuck, or like a little like, you know, too much going on, and you know, this is difficult to pay attention, to concentrate, to focus. But this one, despite of that, actually had really cool spots. Maybe the divings were not good according to you, but you know, aside of that, good showing for all these 8 guys.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think who you have in there. You had Christian Cage, he was in there, you know, well, I mean, not the whole thing, but we'll get into that, you know. Yeah, so you have him, Bryan Danielson, you know, Omega isn't bad, you know, Adam Cole's great, Nick Jackson's pretty good, you know, so you have some really good guys in there, and, you know, with the pro, Bryan Danielson, he's going to slow it down for these guys, and everything's going to make sense. Jungle Boy's great. Obviously, he was the one selling for the baby faces. When he would make the tag into Danielson, Omega would tag out. You know, everything was leading to the two of them squaring off. That's essentially, you know, everything was the appetizer. The two of them facing off, at least to me, was the main course of this. That's what I really wanted to see. Christian got taken out, though. They're like, oh my God, is it the neck? Is he done? You know, what's going on here? So, you know, they played up that injury. So then the baby faces were down. They were outnumbered. And, I mean, Danielson looked good. He was taking him out. Big flying headbutt. Oh, my God. That's going to put Omega away. The Bucks broke it up. You know, we see this again. And I hated it week 1 because I was used to the serious, badass Adam Cole. You know what I mean? Like the no-nonsense, like I'm the best in the world Adam Cole. Now he's over here, and I'm like, see, I hate this. And if I was in the crowd and I saw this, I would be throwing my drink, my popcorn. I boo. Isn't that what you want as a heel? So he's doing his job as a heel because he's getting me to boo him. So, you know, I have to applaud him on that. So, I mean, I'd rather use him more serious, but at least he's doing his job as a heel. But they recreated that spot, you know. But, I mean, everybody looked good in here. Everybody did their job. And just, you know, Jungle Boy was the right guy to get the pin because he's a sympathetic babyface. For him to eat the pin here, that obviously, like JR said, 4 guys in the ring. You know, what's going on here? You know, boom, you know, big 4 knee strike. You know, they pinned Jungle Boy 1, 2, 3.
No, good. Yeah, excellent showing. And you said maybe it's good that like the super elite are getting the win because they're establishing themselves as probably the most powerful stable in wrestling, even WWE anywhere. And like you said, me, I agree. Jungle Boy is just like the sympathetic babyface, and out of all of them, he has the brightest future. So like this is not depressing right now. He has more of a future than depressing, so that's fine. But good showing for all of them. I just think Adam Cole, like you said, that he's trying to explore other things of him, other sides of his character. And I mean, I think that for now he's just like one guy. He's not the guy like used to be on NXT. So like it's gonna take a little bit of getting used to that. But despite of that, good showing for all of them. You know, CM Punk was right there in Philly also, and like they even he says, "Are you guys getting tired of it?" Maybe at points, at times we're getting tired of it, but like in despite of that, of course, he got like, you know.
The crowd was hot here though. See, as long as
they love him.
Boring because it's not the same fans in the building every week. Us at home, it's different. But if you were there in person, seeing it live, you'd be like, yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like it's the entrance, seeing him after all this time. Exactly, you're right. It's like when you see him every single time or every single week, it is getting annoying. But like if you will be in the crowd, it will be a much different story. He just saying, what is he gonna do next? Is he gonna wrestle? Is he not gonna wrestle? Kind of like, you know, just he wants to have a match and he's gonna fight Daniel Garcia. Oh, Daniel, my bad. You know, I always get those two mixed up. And like he said, he's going to do that on Rampage. You guys know that Rampage, they just tape it. It's not that like they stay in Philly.
Because he was like, he's like, you know, do you want me to wrestle tonight? And they're like, yeah, legit. Because he's like, I can wrestle tonight or I can buy you all a cheesesteak. They're like, wrestle. So he's like, okay, I'll wrestle tonight. And he's like, Daniel Garcia, you and me on Rampage. He's like, what? Isn't that Friday?
Yeah, exactly. So like that, just saying, you know, like let the guys know when the shows are gonna be on. He was like a good promo, like you said. He got everybody excited. That's what he needs to do. And there was that kid like dressed as Orange Cassidy. He gave him his shoes. So a shoeless CM Punk goes back to the back.
They showed another crying fan, and I have no comment on that.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like that's fine. You know, like it does. You know, like they're gonna do the same experience, AEW experience. They're gonna get him in the thing. They're gonna give him autographs. They're gonna hang out with the guys. Like, whatever. You know, I mean, Pony's doing what he's supposed to do. He's gonna have that match with Garcia or Dandy Martin one more time. It's gonna be okay. John Moxley cutting a promo in Philly. Everybody just loves Philly. Philly is one of the biggest markets in professional wrestling in the United States. And he just says that that's his city. He's crazy. Life is crazy. He has a 3-month home, all of that. And he's going to be in that ladder match. We'll see what happens. But I mean, you know, Moxley cutting the promo, it's okay. Tell me a little bit about this, because this to me was one of like the highlights of the show. Arn Anderson, you know, trying to bury the professional guy in Cody Rhodes. You know, it's like you're forgetting to be a wrestler and you're just becoming more like a tie and suit guy. So like that was really cool. He's like, he gets the tie, he puts him in the fire, he doesn't want to do it, and then he slaps him. So there's maybe like I don't want to say like a character change in Cody Rhodes, but like at least Arn Anderson is trying to wake him up. He's like, okay, let's be a wrestler now. No more of like the political guy.
Oh, Cody's definitely gonna turn heel, and maybe Arn doesn't want to be on TV no more. Maybe Arn's like, you know, hey, do something where Cody fucking kills me, and I go off screen, or like Cody does something, beats me up so bad, and I'm an old man, and I'm in the hospital, but I'm okay, and then you just write me off TV, you know, for a while, because maybe he doesn't want to be on TV, but no, you got to turn Cody heel. The reality TV show absolutely flopped. People hated Cody for it even more. They hated a lot of negative feedback on the show. You have to turn him heel. There's no way that show keeps airing on TV and he stays a baby, because as soon as he comes out, boo. Oh, yeah. Anything he tries to say as a babyface will go over like a Led Zeppelin. So, you know, I mean, I really think that he needs to just turn heel. Do it here by beating up Arn Anderson. I like what he says to Arn. What are you going to do, shoot me? You know, Arn did that promo that, like last week. Yeah. Pulling out a gun. So, I mean, this was good. It was shot like a horror movie. I thought, like, you know, Ghostface was going to come and stab one of them or something. But, you know, I want to see where this goes. Yeah, it is interesting. Exactly. So let's go to, like, TNT Championship match. And that's the debut of Bobby Fish. You know, like, you see the fish right there? Really? It's fun. But, you know, AEW bound. We knew Bobby Fish is great. And now we got to see a different side of Bobby Fish. A much better, you know, match that they have in WWE. Sammy Guevara, he dominated more the match, Bobby Fish, and then just to go to sleep. But despite of that, I think he earned himself a contract, or he might already have signed the already mentioned contract. So, you know, in the end, Sammy Guevara with the championship. Did we think otherwise? No. Then we get to see like Dan Lambert and all the guys from the UFC. They're not trying to jump Sammy Guevara. And also we get to see Tito Ortiz, a former UFC champion, beating him up.
Then you got to see Fuego del Sol, like, you know, he's the greatest babyface of all time. He's gonna take care of all these guys now. Damn Lambert. Then he's talking, and Jericho came out. Nobody could hear what damn Lambert was saying. I don't know if you picked up on it, but like he's just delivering the promo. The crowd was so loud, nobody could give a damn. Jericho even says like, I don't know what the fuck you said, but whatever you said, it's on. So he wanted a match, and there's gonna be this guys, you know, Scorpio Sky. It's gonna be also Ethan Page and also T Ortiz and the other guys going against the Inner Circle. So I mean, cool stuff. But this is one of the weak like parts of the show for me, because I don't understand why they're feuding. I don't understand the motives of Dan Lambert and all of that. But despite of that, the crowd loved it.
Yeah, and to comment on everything that you just went over, I like the match between Fish and Guevara. Obviously, like you said, as great as it was, how much could you really get into it when you knew that Sammy Guevara wasn't going to drop the belt here? But the only thing that was really exciting, you know, we know he's wrestling for who? MLW, correct?
Yes.
I know, you know, Tony Khan probably says, hey, let me sign this guy main time and I'll let him work all the MLW dates still. That's fine. I'm sure that's something he could do, because they kept saying, how many guys got these TNT championship matches? You know, they debuted it here, you know, challenging for this belt. And, you know, maybe they didn't win it, but, you know, they got a contract. They said, who was it?
It was like also Eddie Kingston. It was like Ricky Starks. It was like a lot of them. You know, all of them that like, you know, they viewed it on this, and they
he could join the ranks, and I think he will. You know, Adam Cole's there. You know, everybody knows how legit Bobby Fish is, so I do think they'll sign him. And this was good. And after the match, the jump shot. I mean, I know why they did it, because obviously Guevara has ties to Jericho. And see, as bad as this was just on paper, the crowd made it feel legit, because Jericho's music hits and the crowd fucking exploded.
Oh yeah,
Done. Yeah. And see, that's how I think Jericho gets over, when you have a bunch of main event talent and he's like the salt. You just sprinkle him on top. If your plate is loaded with salt, it's gonna taste like shit. But if you just sprinkle it on there a little bit, it's gonna taste good.
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree. So like, it's gonna be at least different. You know, Tito Ortiz is like more well known.
I think the heel's got to win the match, though.
Hopefully, yeah. Like the Dan Lambert, the promo ability he has.
To really get sympathy and make me maybe want to see Jericho and them get their revenge is have Hager say screw this and he joins, you know, the America's Top Team.
We'll see. Well, like you said, I would much rather Hager like just have like a more like, you know, main event role on this. But like, hey, it's just like, because like you said, he has the experience, but they don't want to cash in on that. We'll see what they do. Really.
I mean, I don't think Hager's good enough to be like a main event wrestler, like go after Omega. I don't think Hager's good enough for that.
But in this particular storyline, though, like he's fighting against fighters, so like there you go. He should be like, hey, let me lead this time, not you. You know, we'll see what happens. Like you said, we're gonna talk about Darby Allin and Nick Camarado. This was just quick, but before that, a pretty interesting promo on Darby Allin, and he said why he wears like the half like of the face paint and everything. He's like, I have that on the inside, half there like I don't trust anybody, things like that. Pretty profound, you know, things. Maybe that's the truth for Darby Allin. We don't know, but like at least we see more character development on his side, so that's cool, and that's why we know he's a little fucked up. Pretty much, that's the word.
I mean, when they say he's straight edge, I'm sure he is. I'm sure that's a shoot, and maybe that's because there's substance abuse in his life from, you know, relatives or something. You know, I don't want to speculate, whatever. I mean, but I'm sure there's definitely some real, you know, life stuff going on here. And again, that's why Darby Allin's so over, because when you see this guy, you know, oh, he's not just a goofy guy who just puts on face makeup. No, he believes it. That's him. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's why he's so over.
And that's the thing that, remember, like they did the same thing with CM Punk. You know, CM Punk was the same thing. You know, like he was saying he's straight edge and all of that. And going over the match with Camarado was quick. You know, like what, like 3 minutes, like the coffin drop.
You knew Darby was gonna win. Camarado,
exactly. And you know, like the one thing, QT like buries like the diamond cutter after that. You know, like he does it on Sting. Sting no sells it. Done. You know.
I mean, legit shit. I mean, QT's group is such a joke. Camarado looks like a beast. You could do something with him, but as soon as you're with QT, you go from like Mario when he has the mushroom to Mario when he's little.
So like yeah. So you just get hit once and then
that's what happens when you join QT. You become little Mario and you're one hit and done, because
it's really weak. You're absolutely right.
If you look at this match, like the two guys standing next to each other, Camarado should snap him like a twig.
Yeah. No, it's right. So like, I mean, they have something for Darby.
It's like Spider-Man and Bonesaw.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So like, you know, they have little things for like these guys. We're going to talk about Darby Allin a little more, because that interview was because of MJF. MJF brought all these things up, so like he wanted to address all of that, but we'll see that. what happens later on the show, because we have a new title that was introduced for us. That was like the big announcement that Tony Khan had for everybody in Philadelphia. 2-year anniversary of AEW. You know, it's really time really flew. You know, 2 years that we've been doing AEW. John Paul was the main starter right this, and then he joined. Then I joined to this, and we've been covering since. And he's going to be the TBS champion. Another thing that John Paul said. John Paul said they got the TNT. Why don't they got the TBS? There you go, TBS championship. The only thing that Paul didn't get it right, it was just like this title is going to belong to the women. So I mean, it's good because they need another title for the girls to fight for. Because it seems that Brie Baker doesn't want to defend the title. I'm just saying, but like it gives more opportunities for other girls to have something. So yeah, I'm for it.
The only thing I'm going to say with this is, okay, you got Ruby Soho legit. Now you got to say, hey, Tessa Blanchard, what do you need? What do we need to pay you and, you know, promise to you to be legit? You know, you got to bring in all these big names. Who can you steal from WWE? You know, is Charlotte Flair's contract going to be up soon? You know, I know Ric Flair still has heat, so but I don't know if that affects Charlotte or not. You know, Rhea Ripley's being used like shit. You know what I mean? You know, it's one of those things where it's, you know, who can you bring in? Because you can't have this championship being bounced around on like the Penelope Fords and, you know, the Bunnies. You know, they're not the ones, you know, or the Brandys. Brandy can't come back and win this belt. That would absolutely kill it. If you're going to put it on somebody, because I think Thunder Rosa is going to go after Britt Baker and win that belt. You know, if you're going to put it on anybody,
should be Cargill.
I'm going to say Jade Cargill. Yeah, put it on a heel. And then Red Velvet, she can chase her. That might be a story because they had a little bit of a rivalry.
Exactly. Yeah.
What do you think about the design? Ruby Soho.
Or Ruby, yeah. Or one of the three, yeah. One other thing about the design. To me, even more interesting, or at least it looks better than the WWE ones.
I think it almost kind of looks almost like a IC belt a little bit, like some kind of weird, like, you know, it looks good. I like it. I mean, to me, just like TBS is like, it is bullshit.
I mean, you know, the logo, it is bullshit. It looks like, whatever.
Else, I mean, and that's what Britt Baker even said when she cut a promo. You know, she pretty much said, like, yeah, that belt's cute. All you little girls can play with it, but I have the real.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's true though. It is. So, but like, you know, we're gonna like I said, Ruby could be one of the candidates. We'll see what happens with her. You know, let's talk about now the Dark Order, because the Dark Order, like, they're still kind of like trying to mend themselves, trying to fix these relationships. They said, hey, why don't we start like being a team? Everybody takes all the decisions. No more Evil Uno, keep watches all the time. So they're trying to go at it one more time. But then Anna Jay is like the voice of reason for everybody. So they're still in one unit. That's okay. Hopefully, they're waiting for Bray Wyatt. That's the one thing. Mike Rotunda, whatever the name it is, I think they're waiting for him because he's going to be the new leader, and they're going to do it because of Brody Lee, and it's fine. We're okay with it.
The only thing I want to say on that is, unless there's a major revelation in the story, and you're going to tease, Bray Wyatt or, Wyndham Rotunda, if you're going to tease him, like, oh man, he's coming, don't have this on TV. It's the same thing every week.
It kills it. You're right. So, like, also, remember we were talking about Dan Martin? He's talking about how he had like a good showing with Omega, a good showing with a lot of guys. He said, I gave it run for its money, and hey, I'm just whoever wants to step in next. So then we got to see Malachi Black, Mass Black, or Black Mass, however you want to call it. And then he just said, I'm next. So he accepts. So good stuff. But I mean, Malachi, the character is great, but you need to put him with alongside another big name. I don't know who, but at least, don't put him, like, no more jobbers for him. Or, like, no more, like, lower car talent for him, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, and then I guess can we talk about, with this segment, let's talk about Lio Rush, because he kind of, figures into all this. They had a promo with him, and he pretty much said, oh, I'm here, I'm the man of the hour. And he said to Dante Martin, like, if you're really going to accept this, maybe you want me in your corner. I can teach you. I think you're underutilized. You're underappreciated. I'm a fan of yours. Let me help you. So maybe we're going to see, because Dante Martin's brother's hurt, we're going to see another little tag team, little alliance. Or maybe this is going to be something where Lio Rush uses him and then they get a feud out of it or something. I don't know. But if he's involved in this, match with, Malachi Black still needs to win no matter what. I was going to say maybe this leads to Malachi Black versus Lio Rush as well. But, he needs to beat him. But, does Lio Rush really want to debut and then lose?
No, exactly.
I don't know how he figures into all this. But, this is good for Dante Martin, because to go against Malachi Black, again, he's going against all these main event guys. Even if he loses, he's going on the same path Jungle
And
Boy
he's
did.
learning, yeah. Like for him, it's good. And like if on that end of the story, it's good. But like for Malachi, probably like, dude, he's like, I want maybe bigger names. I like when he turn off the lights, Undertaker, like he's right there. Good stuff.
I mean, Malachi, he needs to keep getting wins, and then eventually, if he's not gonna, because what we saw at the end of the show, if his path isn't Omega, Guevara, he needs to be TNT champion.
Yeah, exactly. He needs to be like again big names. So Ricky starts with a fuck the world FTW championship. This is like Philadelphia. He even said there's history, ECW, all of that. Taz brought that title here, all of that. Brian Cage came out. They're still having that feud. Brian Cage is still upset. They don't think that like they can actually hold his own. We'll see what they do with that. But at least I think that it's important that like he drops the title to Brian Cage. They need to do something with Brian Cage because they say he might be the first one to jump to WWE once the contract is over. So what do you think?
I mean, he's a big muscle-bound guy, so I wouldn't be surprised if Vince and them want to sign him up for NXT 2.0. Or, I mean, hell, he might even debut on Raw or SmackDown. I could easily see Raw, him and Big E going at it in a clusterfuck of a shit match. Oh, I could definitely see that. But, no, I mean, the only thing that got this hype is because it's that championship, it's Taz, it's his guys.
It's Philly.
It's a street fight, and it's in Philly. And it's funny that they got a bigger pop for that than when Paul Heyman was in Philly the other night, and he said, let's get extreme, and the crowd was like, so...
It's true.
So you see where the real passionate fans are versus where the fans go just because...
Where the casual fans, the ones that don't really are into it, or they just fluctuate.
Again, this was another segment that was saved by the crowd. Otherwise, if I was watching this in an empty arena, I would have been like, I don't really care.
And then nobody would really care. You're right on that.
But the crowd made it feel special.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And let's go to something that everybody care about. HIKARU, SHIDA, SERENA, DEEB. You said this, and you were absolutely right. They want to stretch this because the feud is great. SERENA, DEEB is a great wrestler. HIKARU, SHIDA doesn't even need that mention of having the 50th win on AEW, but based on that, they were able to create a great story. Kind of like SERENA DEEB is turning heel a little bit, or more intense, more violent, so to say. More power, like more unhinged, whatever. But like, great match. These two gave us like an absolutely great showing for the women. And SERENA DEEB, I don't know why he's not champion already. You know what I mean? Like she just pulls a clinic every single time that she's in the ring.
Yeah, I mean, she's another one who could definitely be the TBS champion. I would not be upset with that. Like you said, she's so good. She's one of those women who, it's like maybe because she's a veteran and she's so legit, and the commentary team puts her over like crazy, and they always presented her she's never looked like a fool in the ring. She's always looked badass. So maybe she's one of those women who's always just presented at the top, even though she doesn't have a championship. And I'm fine with that, but I would love to see her be TBS champion, like I mentioned. But this match was great. I like how she worked the heel style. It was even. It was holds for holds in the beginning, but then it was big strikes, big, slugs back and forth. You saw HIKARU SHIDA with the knee strikes, but JR even said, hey, she keeps using them knee strikes. Eventually they're going to get countered. She did counter them, dragon screw leg whip, really going after the knees, torturing it and everything. And then eventually, she hit the, what do they call it? The detox, but,
the detox,
but she kicked out. So it's like, last ditch effort. But no, she gets the Serenity lock, but not before slamming the knee down on the mat like crazy. And the same thing she did to Riho. You remember, in the pre-show match or whatever they call it.
It was a double or nothing, I think. Yeah, one of the biggest ones.
At the pay-per-view, the kickoff show, whatever they call them. She did the same thing to Riho. So you kind of see that she's going to win this like ruthless way to win these matches. And again, I'm not saying you want to have two heel champions at the same time, but I would love to see her, be the TBS.
She could be a great possibility.
But this is great because I loved it, even more because they were hyping the 50th wins. They had the trophy. She took it afterwards, like smash it over her head, and maybe they're gonna have another match and DEEB wins again, and then the third match, SHIDA gets her win and it's her 50th win or something like that, or maybe just even the next match. But then I think you got to have a match after that.
They will because that is like the story is right there. is winning that match. So there you go. But like you said it that they will do it like that. So
yeah, so I liked it. This to me was again great, and Serena Deeb, such a great wrestler.
Yeah, it is. And so like we're going to see like the Pinnacle, Jumps, Darby Allin. Those guys. They have masks. We know who they are. And MJF, they beat him up. They they use the rail, all of those things. They just like make him unable to compete because he was supposed to compete with MJF next week. And also worth saying that Dynamite is not going to be on Wednesday. This upcoming Wednesday, actually going to be on Saturday. It's going to be on Saturday the 15th. It's going to be from Miami one more time. So maybe that's what they do. They switch it up a little bit. Then that's fine. We can get there for Wednesday. It's going to be a day off. It's absolutely fine. But a good thing to like have the feud. So it's fine. I'm not really into like these two guys. Darby is the future. Yeah, MJF. Hopefully he gets the win just because he's a heel that needs more wins because he's not able to win goal because there's no goal available for the guy, unfortunately.
Yeah, and again, the way that this storyline is presenting itself, they're saying, oh, the pillars here on, AEW. And okay, if one beats the other, then where does he go? Does he go after then Sammy and go after the TNT championship? Or I just want to know because this feud feels so legit because both these guys are over. You have a extremely over babyface in Darby Allin and extremely over heel in MJF. He used the Pinnacle here. He jumped him. I mean, we don't see any Sting, which, why would we see Sting, when he's actually needed?
Hey, yeah, I was going to say that.
But now, even more sympathy for Darby Allin. But what does the winner of this get? Because we know who's going after Omega. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it is true. We'll see. They need to have something with these guys. We don't have anything for you. We don't have anything for you. There you go. You guys are fine.
They don't fight over that diamond ring, which I'm glad they don't because that's pointless.
That would be dumb. You can buy that whatever. So it's fine. So let's do a few matches like we mentioned. Rampage. This one we already talked about. We're gonna see Sky Blue. A lot of people love Sky Blue because there's a lot of cake right behind that woman. So like that's pretty cool on her. And there's gonna be Jay Cargill, like you said, maybe the candidate that we have for that TBS championship. And also we're gonna see CM Punk, like I said, against Daniel Garcia. And this is like going to be another showing just for Punk, just to get the GTS 1, 2, 3. That's fine. And we get to see the Lucha Bros defending against the Acclaim. This is probably going to be a good match. This is going to be a good story. The Acclaim got a promo also. Kind of like it's crappy that the Lucha Bros are not main event on or featuring on Dynamite in just a Rampage. But I mean, you got to do what you got to do. That's what happens when you have too many shows and you have to split the rosters in 10,000. So it's fine. What do you think, Paul?
Oh, no, I definitely agree with you on that. I feel like their title reign, unless things get really changed and they start getting featured and, let's say they lose the belt at the next pay-per-view, I'll be like, that was not really a good title run. You know what I mean? Because
nobody knows. No, we don't hear from them, nothing. Yeah, so, like you mentioned about Dr. Britt Baker, you mentioned what she says. She's happy that, they have another belt because she doesn't want to defend hers. So let's talk about, the main event here, the casino ladder match, and whoever wins gets an opportunity on, a championship title match. Let's see, Pac, Andrade, ÍDOLO, Jon Moxley, Lance Archer, Orange Cassidy, Matt Hardy, and there was going to be a Joker, and you already even said to me, I think that's going to be, it's not Rotunda, it's not, it's not Ric Flair, none of that. It's going to be a guy that has been off TV for a little bit, and it happens to be that guy. So I know you're happy. Good showing for Andrade at the beginning, good showing for Cassidy, Pac, but in the end, all these guys are main eventers that are probably really frustrated because they're only used for this type of stuff. They don't have a major storyline featuring in the show. At least I can say for that. Archer, same thing. Moxley's fine. He's okay doing the garbage stuff that he enjoys. But in the end, Paul, Adam Page comes out. You were happy. I was happy. Take me to the end.
Yeah, I just to echo the one thing you said, that's why a lot of the great wrestling companies, of yesteryear, they their rosters weren't so huge.
Yes.
That's the problem. AEW, they have a lot of stars, but the roster's huge. And if you don't have belts for these guys to fight for, or, you're not featuring other companies' belts more, like when they had the Impact belt, they weren't doing anything with them on TV or anything, or when they had the NWA Women's Championship they were defending, that was cool at least. But, you should do more with these guys because you do have a lot of stars, and like you said, you only bring them out for the big shows, and then it's go back to being bullshit. So
yeah,
I do agree with you on that because Lance Archer was in this, and we have seen him, and I'm not saying he should have won or anything, but to me he was an afterthought. And as soon as, the big stars came out, Moxley was second to last. And, then guys like Andrade, to me, just feel like an afterthought. I mean, I love the sunset flip powerbomb on Pac off the ladder. That was badass and everything. But, eventually, like you said, when these stars come out, these guys just feel like an afterthought, and that kind of sucks. But, the last guy to come out, the Joker, Hangman Adam Page, his music hit. Again, another huge pop. It's him and Moxley in the ring fighting. The crowd wasn't chanting Moxley, but they were when he came out. They weren't chanting it now. They were chanting cowboy shit. So it's like they chose their guy here in this moment, at least. They chose Hangman Adam Page over Moxley. They were cheering him, and he was clearing house, taking everybody out. Pac swings, hits him with the chair.
Dead eye, like you said, super dead eye. That was a great move.
Yeah,
that was great.
Yeah, then him and Moxley start going at it. Then eventually, like you said, Pac's up on the ladder. Hangman gets off the table. He climbs up the ladder. He grabs Pac, the big dead eye, like you mentioned, through the table. That Pac was completely taken out. That was a legit spot. Eventually, Hangman, he takes out Moxley. Well, Moxley and Orange Cassidy were on the ladder. They were climbing up. They were jockeying for the poker chip. Matt Hardy pushes him over. Hangman takes him out, gets the ladder, climbs up. He's the new #1 contender. And it's interesting to see when they're going to do this. Is this going to be in 2 weeks? Is this going to be the show in Miami? Is this going to be saved, which I hope to God it is,
for Full Gear. For Full Gear.
And this is where you pull the trigger, because, I mean, you need to. Otherwise, to me, Hangman's dead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, this is when you need, and then, for example, Hangman can be Adam Cole. You got more guys, you got more heels that they can go after that, or Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson, not Daniel Bryan. You can be like, hey, we're baby faces here, but competition.
Bryan Danielson and CM Punk, if you ask them in a shoot interview, is it more about having legit matches or winning belts? They've been like, listen, look at how many belts I already won.
It's about having legit matches.
So they don't care about that. This is for young guys like Hangman. What is he, 29, 30?
29, 30 years old.
Yeah. So give that to him. That would be big, and that's a long-term story. You can show the video package, him and the Elite, him and Omega winning the tag belts, them turning on him, them being like, you're a drunk, you're bullshit. The story, everything. This would be badass. So I'm glad he won. To me, again, this was another fantastic show.
It was. And just to go finish the thought that you said, Hangman was supposed to be the one that fought for the championship at the beginning of AEW. With Pac, it's supposed to be about Pac having restrictions with the visa or something, that they had to switch the main event, and then Jericho was inserted, and then Jericho became champion.
They actually even mentioned, they said how Pac and
Hangman have a history with each other, exactly. So, but other than that, great showing. AEW still giving what the fans want. After all, like Tony Khan, after all of these things, maybe he's with the creative mind is working better now. A better relationship with Cornette. That he's actually trying to reconcile some loose ends.
I know. I mean, I don't know again what this really means. But he did say that now he is, taking full control of the booking. I don't know what he let other people book, if it was anything on Dynamite or just YouTube or what, but he said he's now taking full booking control. So maybe this is, an effect of it. Who knows? No,
exactly. So, the result is just everybody's a lot happier, and actually the faith and, the fandom for this company is actually growing tremendously. Vince McMahon, a lot of people in WWE within there's internal concern.
Look how good a show is when, for the most part, you only feature your stars and you don't feature, the Joey Janela's and the Kip Sabians and the people like that. To me, really, the only big star that was left off was FTR and Miro.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, and Miro's because he just lost the title. It made also 2 hours, like you said, probably they don't want to put they wanted a break from some of them, and yeah, you're right. But outside of that, hey, good job on AEW.
But beside that, I mean, every other big name was on this show, and that's again.
And it's a home run. Yep. So family, thank you so very much to every single one of you. Don't forget, tomorrow will be NXT UK, and there will be some soccer coverage later on in the night. So we have a full night for you guys. Don't forget also SmackDown on Friday. And one more time, please subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. Give us a comment. Hey, we love what you guys do. You guys suck. Whatever you're gonna say, just put it on. We don't censor. We don't do anything like that, or else they can, find us, Paul.
And then, guys, make sure you follow us on all of our social media. Rope Break on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok, and of course, right here on YouTube, the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
And you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...